Welcome back, Dividend Stackers. Last week, I showed you how I threw my whole paycheck into ULTY. This week, we're taking it a step further. I will be paying my rent, $1,800, and even will move another $500 for a sell transaction, all using Robinhood margin money. I'm going to show you the numbers, do a live transfer, and then break down what my portfolio looks like now. And a quick reminder, none of this is financial advice. I'm just showing you what I am doing with my money inside of ULTY. And if you're new here, this channel documents my journey building weekly income using YieldMax's ULTY ETF with margin, drip, and real life decisions along the way. Nothing hidden, no filters, no fluff. And real quick, if you're getting value or just simply entertained from this journey, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss these weekly updates. And comment, subscribe down below. I'd love to shout you out in the next video. All right, let's start with the numbers. As you can see, ULTY is sitting at $5.44. while my cost basis is $5.82. That puts me slightly in the water again, about $519 in unrealized losses, or about a negative 6.48%. Now here's the kicker, even though I'm red on paper, look at this column, dividends received of $513.68 net. That basically wipes out my unrealized losses. My true gain now is basically flat at a negative $6. This is why I keep saying the income side of ULTY is the real engine. Every week, those payouts are bridging the gap. Check this out. In July, I made $13.13. In August, I made $171.14. And in September, it's already over now at $329. That's the equivalent of a car payment, or in my case, about 18% of my rent covered in just 1 month. Weekly net dividends are climbing too. You can see the chart. It started small, but the curve is getting steeper. That's a snowball effect I'm betting on. Now let's talk margin, the part everyone gets nervous about. Here's my Robinhood account before making the transfer. You can see I'm only using $541 in margin. My buffer is huge at over 71%, which puts me in a low risk category. My interest rate is at 5.5%, but here's the cool part. Robinhood gives me the first $1,000 of margin interest free. So right now I'm paying literally zero interest as I am only using $541. That of course is because the dividend hit of almost $125, reducing it from the $666 that I was showing on Wednesday. Here's a moment I got bills to pay. $1,819.78 for rent and another $500 to cover a sell transaction that I will be making here shortly. So instead of cashing out dividends, I'm going to transfer margin from my Robinhood investment account to my spending account. So watch this. So total of $23.19.78 from my individual account to my spending account. Here goes the transfer, and here's a confirmation, and here's a warning. You're authorized Robinhood Financial to transfer money from your individual account to Robinhood Money Spending account. This is a one-time transfer that will be completed immediately. All right, there's the transfer, $23.19.78 from my individual account to my spending account. And I won't do this next thing on screen. I have to do it from my phone. It's just easier that way. As you can see there, the transaction went through. It was actually $1,824.73 because I used my debit card, and the portal I used to pay my rent charged me $4.95. So actually not bad, but what I do know and I like is it comes right out of my account and I don't have to worry about an ACH transaction. I'll pay the $4.95 anytime. So now let's make the $500 transfer to my checking account. So here we go. We're queued up. $500 from spending to my Visa debit card. There is the fee, $8.75 fee for that withdrawal. So I may have to start keeping track of this and seeing how much it actually charges. That's kind of steep there, but let's go ahead and do it. Obviously, this is all for the experiment. So definitely taking a risk here. And you guys are all seeing it live here. $8.75 fee coming up. All right, so the transfer is made. I did have to verify that it was me through Robinhood, which I really appreciate because it could be going somewhere else. So by me verifying that actually made me a little bit more confident in making sure that my money is not being taken somewhere else. Well, all right, now let's take a look at my margin. Here we are. The total maintenance required now sits at $2,250.42. My buffer is actually surprisingly $2,379.97, which puts me at a 51.30% buffer, according to Robinhood. So I'm kind of surprised on that because I thought it would be more. Again, it makes me a little bit more confident in what I am doing here. Of course, there's risk here, but definitely a lot higher than what I thought I was gonna have to do there. You can see now that the margin used is $2,861.66, and I do have $2,334.93 of margin available. Of course, this would all be charged at a 5.50%. The first 1,000 obviously is interest free because I'm the Robinhood Gold member. And one thing you can see there is my portfolio value did drop to $4,639.75. And one interesting thing here to see is actually the maintenance ratio dropped to 30%. So I'm thinking now, because I did mention that this jumps up and down, I was at 25% just a little while ago before making this transaction, and I believe, and we'll have to do some research on that Robinhood probably adjusts the maintenance ratio based on how much you have in there, how much actual margin you're using. And so we'll have to track that to see if that's the case. But yeah, that is it. The transaction is made and you get to see it all here almost live. So what's the logic here? It's simple. Instead of cashing out dividends, I'm letting them drip back into ULTY and buy more shares. Meanwhile, I'm going to use the margin as a bridge to cover the bills. Those drip shares keep compounding week after week. The more shares, the more dividends, the more compounding. Eventually, the dividends themselves will outpace my bills. That, of course, is the goal. Now, don't get me wrong. This is risky. If ULTY's share price crashes hard or dividends get cut, I could be in trouble. And a margin call is always a possibility. But I'm not hiding that risk from you. That's the point of this channel, to document both sides, the wins, the losses. And if it works, you'll see it. If it blows up, you'll see that too. So what's next? Well, with 1,379 shares at about 9 cents per share per week, I'm looking at roughly $125 in weekly dividends. And that's over $500 a month if it stays consistent. If I keep reinvesting, I could cross the $150 to $175 mark per week by October, which is a 4-figure monthly pace. That's where it really gets interesting. And of course, I will reevaluate, but I plan to continue to dropping my whole paycheck into ULTY. The next paycheck is in 2 weeks. And a quick reminder, if you want the spreadsheet I use to track your ULTY dividends, it will be linked below. No pressure. So to recap, yes, I'm red on paper, down about $519, but I've collected $513 in dividends, basically breaking even. And now I just showed you live how I pay my rent and bills with margin while still compounding my dividend snowball. If you want to keep seeing how this plays out, hit subscribe, drop a like and a comment below if you ever dare to pay bills with margin. I read every single one. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is just what I am doing with my money inside of ULTY. See you on the next video. ULTY YOLO out.